Hello again, it's LockNoob and I'm really excited to do this video with you today. If you read a lot about locksport or you're looking on for different forums and people start talking about tension wrenches, and I've got a couple of tension wrenches here, my two favourites I have to say, then you might hear people say, oh, just use a wiper blade insert to make some tension wrenches. Well, if you're new to lockpicking and you don't really know what that means, then you can be forgiven. I didn't know what it meant when I first heard it. What is a wiper blade insert? Why would you be making tension wrenches out of it? And how would you do that anyway? Well, let's explore that together today. As you can see here, these are two tension wrenches which are my absolute favourites. They are very similar, apart from one is slimmed down. They're both rounded off at the end, or this one here on the cutting mat being a bit more rounded, and then this one here is pretty much the same, but they've filed down the edges to be a bit slimmer at the tip. I find both of these absolutely brilliant. How you can buy them? I think they're about I think this one from Southord is about £3 a piece, something like that. Let's have a look at how thick they are. So we talk about the width of it is about, well, let's put that as centimetres, so useful, millimetres, sorry, it's about 3 millimetres or so in width, and that's fine. The tip on this one is slimmed down to about 2.2 millimetres. This is probably around the same, somewhere around 3 millimetres overall. Okay, so let's put those to one side, but before we do, let's just measure them. I'm just going to take a curved measurement here of how long these are, and I'm going to do it in centimetres. So we're talking about more or less, give or take, about, let's say, 9 centimetres of metal. So 9 centimetres with a bend at roughly let's say 1.5. So remember that 9 centimetre piece of metal with a 1.5 centimetre bend in it. Okay, let's put these to one side. So those are my two favourite picks. Now let's talk about wiper blade themselves, and here's a wiper blade. So this I got for £2 from a hardware shop called Wilko in the UK. £2, there we go, and it's absolutely brand new. You don't have to pay for them, by the way. If you are changing your windscreen wipers on your car, you can take those off. You could also go down to your local garage and just ask them if they've got any spare ones. They might be happy to offload them onto you. Whatever you do, be very polite. If you are going to ask your local garage for any wiper blades, you don't want to annoy anybody. Okay, so let's get into this. I'm going to just pull this out of the packaging. Don't need to do that on camera. It's not an exciting unpackaging video. And here we go. Here's the actual wiper blade itself. Now, the reason I've got a cutting mat is I want to show you what actually goes on in here. If I peel this back, you'll be able to see that there's actually an insert, a wiper blade insert, and this is made of stainless steel because clearly you don't want to have a wiper blade which is rusting on your windscreen. Okay, so let's just cut the end off a little bit here so I can show you the cross section a little bit better, and you can see there that you have some wiper blade inserts. How do you get them out? Well, honestly, the easiest way is to just strip back this rubber with a standing knife, and then like this, just get straight in there and cut through it all the way along, and you should be able to expose your inserts themselves. There you go, and once you've done that all the way down, they should just come out. There we go, strip that down, bye bye. Wiper blade inserts for everybody. Well, not everybody, for me. There we go. What else do I need then? Well, I need some snips. So if you look at the ends, actually let's measure these. It looks a bit thinner, but that's absolutely fine too. So there we go, let's have a look at the thickness. So these are, yeah, about 2.5. Different wiper blades vary. If you have wiper blades from a truck or a lorry, then they'll be bigger and they will give thicker wiper blade inserts. So there we go. Nevertheless, let's just have a look at this. It looks very flexible, but when you actually have a small amount, it's a lot less flexible. First thing I like to do is just chop the top up off first, make it square. Doesn't have to be perfect because that's what we have some finger files for later. Here we go. Now let's measure off a 9cm length, or a few 9cm lengths for that matter. Here we go. And let's get a pen out and actually just do some marking off. So here's my pen. Let's get this measure there. And all I'm going to do is measure this off in 9cm lengths. It doesn't have to be perfect, by the way. It really, really doesn't. Don't think it does. So I'm going to do one 9cm there. There you go. And I'm going to do another 9cm about there. And that'll give me 2. Now I also want to do a Zed Wrench. So I'm going to actually add on a little bit more length as well. So let's make one end long and one end short. So I'm going to do 9.5 there, and let's do one which is, I've got a bit more space on this. Let's just do a top of the keyway one. So again, I will do something which is about 7 and let's do 8 centimeters there. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 L wrenches, a Zed wrench with a long and a short end, and a top of the keyway with just a short end. So let's get those snips again. Again, you don't have to be too accurate at this point. You know, you can be as accurate as you want, actually, as it happens. It's all up to you. This will all fly everywhere. It doesn't matter, you know, and you can tidy up the edges and polish them all you want afterwards. So you just need to snip this up into sections. So those are my 2 L wrenches. This is my Zed wrench, and I've got to go fishing out over here for my top of the keyway wrench. I'll get rid of this one for now. I'll play around with that later, and snip this off here. There we go. So how do we put bends in these? Well, I'm just going to do another quick measure at 1.5 centimeters down here. You can see that these are moderately accurate. Again, they don't have to be perfect. These are tension wrenches. You can make them as equal as you like. So line those up, put a marking on, so 1.5 centimeters on these. That's about here. Get myself a set of needle nose pliers and hold. There we go. Try and get that in camera for you. Hold one bit there tightly. Get my other pliers. Make sure you leave a little bit of a gap because it'll need to bend round, and then bend. And once you start bending, you'll see that it bends quite easily. It depends on how you can actually do it in your fingers. It depends on how much of a curve you want. You might want it to be very, very finely curved. You might want it to be, you know, a right angle. So, and it all depends on how you sort of want that to be. And already we've got a fairly nice wiper blade tension wrench. Okay, let's have a go at this one and do the same kind of thing. You want to be gentle with this because you know, you can break these. Just be gentle as you can. You can heat this up actually as well, but I found that as long as you're gentle with these, they can work quite well. So there we go. So again, you just need to bend these to where you want them. There we go, and that's, for me, good enough. Alright, Now, depending on what type of wiper blade you have, depends on how well they bend and what angle you can get away with. Okay, sometimes they can be quite brittle and they will break on you. It all depends really on the quality of the wiper blade steel itself, and that you won't know. So there we go. So there's a little wiper blade tension wrench. How do I get rid of the rough edges? Well, you can sand them down all you want. You can also just take a finger file and some time, and what I'll just go along with a finger file in a vise and take off those edges. All right. Okay, so we're back again, and what I've done is I've created my double-sided Zed Wrench, and I've just done a quick polish with some 2000 and 1000 grit wet and dry paper, and this was from, remember, bar stock like this, from a wiper blade insert. And what we've got is a tension wrench with a long side. I've rounded off the ends with a file. I've polished it up a bit. I mean, the tension wrenches don't have to be beautiful. And you can see a short end here. Why do I have a short end? Well, that's the top of the keyway. Here's a padlock here, and you can see that I can get tension by putting it in this way and getting cord tension, but I can also do top of the keyway by putting it in at the top, and I get tension there. Bear in mind that if you are going to do top of the keyway like this, make sure that you round off the edges, because if that's too long and it digs into the first pin, it will scar it up. Okay, so there we go. This will actually go into my my bag, and here is a commercial one as well, just to show you how you know, realistically, if I didn't tell you that this was handmade, would you be surprised? I don't know. I honestly, I think it's quite good, you know, and it's perfectly serviceable. I'll show you against the tension wrenches that my favourite ones, and hopefully you'll see this is actually quite complementary in terms of its sort of style and those kind of things. So, you know, we haven't got anything out of the ordinary. A wiper blade insert tension wrench, very serviceable. That will go into my everyday kit. Oh, here's the thing. When I was bending these, I actually put too much of an angle curve. If I was heating it with a lamp and bent it, it would be fine. But sometimes when you bend them cold and they are that much of an angle, they can have weaknesses in. So let me just bend it back for you a little bit, and bend it forwards, and hopefully you'll see that this will weaken and shear. So when you are putting bends into this cold, I would suggest just a little tip. Bend a little bit at a time, use your fingers, and put a little bit more of a curve in than you might expect. Now, it does depend entirely on the metal they use for wiper blade insert, okay? It really, really does. So, you know, there is no kind of magic rule. I'm afraid that, you know, you'll just have to give it a go. Plus side, wiper blade inserts are free or very, very cheap. So if you make a few mistakes, don't worry about it. Just start again. Okay, so again, you know, I've got a relatively nice-ish 90-degree angle in there, and no problems there. If I do this and bend it too harsh, there you go. I can actually break it in one go. Big difference, isn't there, between a nice smoother curve with no cracks in it and something which just shears off. Again, depends on the metal they use for these wiper blades. Have a go yourself. Honestly, have a go. What can go wrong? I mean, you know, if you get them for free, you just waste a few minutes. If you get them wrong, if you break a couple, fine, make another one. Honestly, have a go. Wiper blade insert tension wrenches, not as hard as you might have expected to make, and not as expensive. Okay, I'll see you next time.